Mr. S. Dhanapalan, Chairman, Temasek Trust, Mr. Benny Lim, Chairman, Temasek Foundation, Mr. Lim Boon Heng, Chairman, Temasek Holdings, ladies and gentlemen, those of you who are here physically and those of you who are online. Good afternoon, or good evening. It's been quite an interesting afternoon for all of us. I think we've learned so much in a very short period of time. I'd like to thank DPM Heng Swee Kiat for his keynote address, and each of the panelists for the 3 panels that we've had for their insights, their perspectives, experiences, and for their knowledge that they've shared with us. I'd like to recognize and thank the team at Temasek Foundation for organizing this inaugural Shophouse Conversation. I know that you're going to have more Temasek Shophouse Conversations, and they will culminate in the Philanthropy Asia Summit. Now, the distinction of each Shophouse Conversation is that there will be calls to action. Indeed, thought leadership without conversion into action is lost potential and lost opportunities. But you start this series on a high point with the quality of the conversations today. 3 principles struck me through the panel discussions. The first is resilience, and that was really the point about the first panel discussion. Everyone talked about how we managed to maintain a sense of order, care, and structure in approaching the enormous challenges we face, despite the initial difficulties. But we also talked about the need for preparedness and for collaboration, regionally and globally. In fact, Prof. Wang Linfa had an interesting point to make. Just as we have an Interpol, do we need to have an organization that looks at health security and biosecurity, for example? Because the sharing of information and data is critical to us understanding the issues we face and finding solutions. The second is selflessness. There are many great stories of courage, putting community before self, and making great sacrifices to ensure protection of our community and care for those affected. The second panel had many examples of this. People bringing in their skills together to find ways in which we could uplift, protect our community, because no one is safe unless everyone is safe. And the third, which came from the third panel, is the spirit of innovation. In many cases, no one had all the answers or even the processes, but people innovated and improvised. And some, in fact, had to do that without the benefit of training for what they had to do. We stretched our talents, forged new partnerships, and through collaboration found new pathways. And we got a good sense of that in the context of science, context of drug development, testing, protocols and mechanisms, devices, but also in advanced manufacturing. So a key lesson from the sharing sessions that we've had is that we must preserve both the spirit of what we have built and the pathways that we have forged together, because the time will come when we will have to apply these together. We've all had a focus on weathering this crisis, which continues, but discussions today remind us that Disease X could come our way at any time. And I like the way Dr. Jamila Mahmood put it, that COVID-19 is a massive dress rehearsal for the future. Of course, even with vaccines, our fight against COVID-19 will not be over. Temasek Foundation will be launching more nationwide distributions of masks and zero alcohol sanitizers in the coming months. And this leads me to our first call of action today. We've had great support from many volunteers during the past rounds. If you individually or as representatives of your companies think you could step forward to help in our next distribution of masks and sanitizers, I know that our team will be grateful to you to come forward. Our second call to action is Youth Action for Pandemics. This is an appeal to our young people to share your ideas on a project or program to address the impact of COVID-19 or prepare for the next pandemic. You're young enough that the memories of COVID-19 will stay with you for a long time, yet you're old enough to help prepare for the next one. But we welcome organizations to work alongside our young people, to mentor them and to help shape or support their Pathfinder projects. I would like to thank the generous support we've received from the Hardware Network, National Youth Council, the SMU Lien Center for Social Innovation, and Young NTUC. we hope more organizations will join in. So there's much more that we can do. Listening to to today's panel, I realize it's about the head, the heart, and the hands, coming together to support our communities, bringing whatever we can to a common objective, supporting each other. Only then can we ensure that there's social cohesion amongst all of us and resilience in all our communities. Thank you. Stay safe, stay healthy, so you can have a very happy 2021. Good evening.